Hey everybody, it's Steve and welcome to another episode of the Blockchain Homestead, coming at you from Synchronicity Farms in Sandy Mush, North Carolina. So for today's episode, I think we're making a breakout. At least I hope we're making a breakout. I think we're all hoping we're making a breakout. But I think we're making a breakout. And I'm going to go through why that is and what we could possibly see that I think is going to happen from here on. And also I want to talk about, assuming that we're going to be on an uptrend from here, what sort of market actions you can expect to see. Let me start out with the current situation here in Bitcoin. So this is a rough, not to scale sort of drawing. So, but I'll show it to you here. So we came up, we hit our peak sometime in late December, right around 20,000. And since then we've been having the series of down spikes or downtrend, but we've been conforming to this purple trend line here. I mentioned that in the last video, the international symbol for a trend line. But basically what's happened and what defines that sort of trend is, and you'll see this in a lot of videos talking about stocks or bonds or whatever, anything that trades has that psychological aspect to it. And you'll see this up and down within a channel. And every time it hit a low on this channel, Bitcoin had a big volume spike, okay? So that tells you that the buyers are watching this bottom trend line, all right? So the buyers are in here buying on the dips. What happened last week was we came up, and instead of touching that line, we broke through that line and came up above it. What always happens, or I guess you can't say always, but what almost always happens when a trend breaks, when a trading entity breaks that trend line that had been established, what happens is it always comes back to test that line. All right, this is something that you can see it over and over and over again if you just look at some charts. It will always come back to that trend line. And then this is where we're at right now. We're at about, so that trend line that we came back to was right around 10,000 to 9,500. It's right in this area right in here. So what happens is from here, we're going to do one of two things. We're going to break up and start a new impulse wave, a 5-move Elliott wave impulse wave. You can look up those terms, Elliott wave, impulse wave. But a five wave move from here. Or we're going to break down back and test the bottom channel again before we make our move up. I don't think we're in a bear market. I think one of these two is going to hold. But if we go up from here, we're going to see new highs before April or May, above 20,000, new highs. If we fall back, we're going to test this 6,000 level. And from there, hopefully we'd shoot up. If we break down below that, we're going to test where the move started from back here, like at 1,000 or 2,000, which would obviously not be good. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think we're going to actually move up from here. I was looking at the charts today. I was looking at like a 6-hour chart or a 12-hour chart, I think. And I could see some indecisiveness, but also a change in direction, like a doji sort of thing, or a spinning top candle marker. And so I think we should be making the turn up here. I don't know, but that's what I'm hoping. We'll see if the volume picks up. If the volume picks up as it starts to move up, you'll know that we've actually done it. If we still stay in the low volume, we're going to sink back down. So that's what's going on right now. And the other concept I want to hit on is that psychological aspect of trading. If you look up the Wall Street cheat sheet, that's hard to say. Try saying that 3 times fast. Wall Street cheat sheet. So the Wall Street cheat sheet shows you this grand view of what a market cycle psychology is, right? You start off with disbelief and depression, and then it goes up through euphoria and greed, and then falls back down through depression and disbelief and denial. So humans are, all of our trading, I think I've covered this in another episode, all of our trading and commerce and anything that happens between two people is going to be dictated by emotions almost always, or at least the interaction will. So that emotion is really seen in stock and bond and currency trading, where it's not manipulated. Wink. which I think is why Bitcoin is such an interesting, or all the cryptocurrencies are so interesting, because at this point I don't think that there's manipulation in there like you see in the silver market or the LIBOR rate. That was a big scandal. But because of that human interaction and that human trading psychology aspect, there's a term that says, the markets have a memory, okay? Charts have a memory. To steal a line from Trader Jay, charts have a memory. So what I want you to see here, this is say like an actual market structure, right? You've got a 5-wave up, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, an impulse Elliott wave up, and then a 3-wave move back. And each of these little stopping points provide a layer of support or resistance for the next move, okay? So you can see that this was this was a high that serves as resistance, a ceiling, and it came down, broke through the ceiling, and came up through this next level here, turned, came back down to this level, which you can see was also a level here on this side that so this was support that it bounced off of. And then when it fell and came up, it's no longer support, it's resistance. It hit the resistance and fell back down, okay? And then an all-time high is always going to be resistance until you break through it. So what I would expect on the next market move, after this layer of pausing and consolidation, is a move up. This would be like another impulse move, right? A 5-wave, wave 1 up, 2 back, 3 up, 4 down, 5 up. So each of these resistances and levels of support and resistance from the last highs are going to be mimicked in this next one. Okay, so something that was a ceiling the last time is going to be a floor coming up. Now, there might be other moves in here, but the basic theory is that these old highs and old levels of resistance or floors act as new levels of resistance that you have to break through or touch, come back, retest, and then break through. And then once you break through, you'll often retest. That was what I was saying in the channel part. Once you break through, you'll almost always retest before moving up again, unless it's super bullish. Like if you look at some of Bitcoin charts from the move up, we didn't really do a lot of retesting. We just shot through things, which is why I think maybe the downside right now is so vicious, is because we never really fully retested those levels. And technical traders are looking for that to really make sure that we're in a bull market. So just a little bit of market psychology. Think about that when you're looking at getting into a market. Look at where the market is and try to think about that Wall Street cheat sheet, or look at what levels might be resistance or support in an area, because if that'll give you like a downside potential or an upside potential. Oh, well, the next ceiling isn't for another 50%. I could make a good trade here. Or I could buy here because the next level of support down is maybe 20% below where I'm buying now, so I could feather in some trades at dollar cost averaging between here and that next buy point. So things to think about, and hope everybody's having a great time watching these videos. Please comment, let me know what you're liking and what you're not liking, so I can see if I can adjust the video. Like this new setup, this new view comes from Hannah, who was saying that the light was a little too bright and there was a little too much nostril because the camera was coming up from the bottom. So hopefully this is a little less nostril and a little better light, a little less distracting light. So that's for you, Hannah. And I'm still working on getting the unicorn. I know Zelda, Hannah's daughter and my goddaughter, wants more unicorns. So I'm working on that, and I'll see what I can do. But that's all I have. See you guys next time. Bye.